We've covered homepage design in a few previous webinars, but this one's pretty cool. It talks about the hero section, the first thing people see when they come to your site. That's the above the fold, the top of the screen items that people see. And David and I were chatting about this earlier in the week and what we should cover. And we created this great presentation for you. David, if it's all right, I'll pass it over and you can take us through this week's tip of the week.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of you are probably already familiar with a hero section. There is the dedicated settings for it in the design settings for your BD site. But really, if we start off right on the ground floor, covering the basics here, talking about what is a homepage hero section. What it boils down to is it's just a visually prominent section on your homepage with the purpose of grabbing the visitor's attention. It will communicate what it is your website is offering, the purpose of it, why the visitors should stick around and explore a little bit more. Typically, it'll include a good hero section, at least, will include a really visually appealing image or even an embedded video. It'll include a little tagline that you have that really summarizes what it is you're offering, as well as having some sort of call to action, whether that's a search box, an email submission form, a button linking to some other page you want to direct your visitors to. This is really the ideal place to include all of that information, because if somebody's going to be coming to your website for the very first time, especially your homepage, this is the section that they're going to be seeing before they even need to scroll down at all. So we want to make sure we're making a great first impression and we're grabbing their attention and making sure that they're interested. So what can we expect from a bad hero section? Let's first cover the goods, the bads, and then we'll get into some examples and some elements that would be beneficial to include in your hero sections. So a bad hero section would end up probably making visitors not really understand what the purpose and the meaning is behind your website. If there's a lot of text or the text itself just isn't clear, it can make it really difficult for brand new visitors to comprehend what exactly it is you're offering. This could lead to higher bounce rates, lower engagement, again, especially from those new visitors who don't yet know exactly who it is you are and what it is you're offering. And that will ultimately lead to a potential loss of sales, leads, whatever it is you're looking to generate through your website. And then it'll also negatively impact the overall user experience. Again, especially for the brand new visitors. If you already have some users of your website, some recurring visitors, they already know what it is you're offering, but it's the new visitors we really want to convey to them specifically what it is we're doing and why they should stick around and see what we have to offer. So at the bottom here, we just have a quick example. You can see the text itself, the messaging, it all seems pretty relevant, straight to the point, but the format of it all, it really doesn't lend itself to drawing your eye anywhere specific. The images, it looks like there's maybe 3 different stock photos all crammed together. There's also no call to action. So as soon as a visitor sees this, the only thing really that's left for them to do is just keep scrolling down instead of telling them, to check out our FAQ page or see our prices or see what our existing customers have to say about us. There's a lot of ways that this call to action could have been improved.
Also, I think something we see quite often is there's a tendency to want to stuff in as much as you can because you're trying to hammer so many different things into the visitor's head and their mind and what they're seeing. But really, what we're going to find out, and which makes sense, is less is definitely more when it comes to a homepage hero section.
Yeah, that's a great point and a good segue into this next slide. What makes a good hero section? Really, overall, it's the ability to help new visitors understand the website's purpose and what it is you're offering. If you have a lot of info in there, it'll just end up muddying the waters. Whereas if we can just really hammer home a specific point, that'll be much more beneficial. This will ultimately lead to increased engagement, the potential for more leads or sales, or again, whatever it is you're looking to generate from your website. It'll have a much more positive impact on your users. And really, again, for the new visitors of your site, having a really clean, modern, straight to the point hero section will certainly lend itself to improving your brand image and your credibility for these people who don't know really too much about who you are, what it is you're offering yet. You can kind of think of this as the first impression that we're making on our new visitors. So we really want to make sure we're putting our best foot forward.
Yeah, and with this, a lot of it is really in order to not stuff the page with so much, verbiage and titles and messaging, is you really need to distill down your message and figure out in the fewest and least amount of words possible, how can you convey the message that you're trying to connect with and for your visitors. And a lot of it should touch on emotional or beneficial points rather than the features that they're going to receive. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit as well.
Yeah, and that goes right on into the first best practice, establishing a clear value proposition to convince the visitors to stay, explore the website, see what it is we have to offer, and highlight really the prime benefit of your membership plans, what it is you're offering, and figure out what your target audience is really looking for and what they need, and hammer home on that point, address those concerns, let them know that you're here to solve their problems, whatever that problem may be, so that the message itself really resonates with your target audience. And at the bottom of these slides, we'll have a few examples, but we'll go through some screenshots as well to give you some more of a visual aid for all of this stuff. So the first one here, I think we're all very familiar with Netflix at this point, but on their homepage, they're putting their value proposition front and center. Unlimited movies, TV shows, and more, watch anywhere, cancel anytime. So the text itself tells us exactly what it is they're offering. The image that accompanies the hero section is really visually appealing. It offers a wide variety of all the different content that they have available to consume. And then their CTA is front and center, getting us to enter our email address to get started with them immediately. So there's not a whole lot of fluff there.
At the heart, it's a membership subscription, and you're accessing premium content. So I know that we're not all offering what Netflix has to offer, but maybe for your industry or what's behind the paywall, maybe it's industry specific or getting access to searching your directory because it's a curated directory of professionals in a certain industry or region. The concept is still the same here. They're outlining very simple and very clear benefits, and the fact that it's so minimalistic shows a bit of confidence that they don't need to oversell what they're offering, and that goes a really long way. So look at those cues also. The minimalism is the confidence that they're portraying with that.
Yeah, and that contrasts our next example a little bit in Amazon Prime. It's still a really good hero section, but the issue Amazon Prime runs into is that they have so many offerings, it's a little hard to narrow it down. With Amazon Prime, they're offering free and fast delivery on all the items that you can purchase on Amazon, exclusive discounts, and then they also have their content element of it, their movies and TV shows. So you can see they try to encompass kind of all of that here, but still the call to action is extremely apparent, having the bright orange button against the dark background. They're telling you that you can try it free for 30 days. They have, again, a really visually appealing image right next to all the text with the different content that they have available for the content side of things. And then right below that, they're throwing in some information about the shopping benefits that they have to offer.
Right, and in this case, they have so much to offer to Prime members. You might not use their groceries, but you're just doing it for access to their media content, for their Amazon Prime videos and whatnot. So they're really casting a larger net and hoping that they can appeal based on one of their offerings that are behind and inside this paywall here.
Yeah, and we touched on this in these two examples, using compelling visuals to make the hero section visually appealing and then also emotionally engaging. It's much easier to connect with your visitors on an emotional level through visual aids rather than just through text alone. So we want to make sure that the image or the video that we're using is high quality and it does a really good job representing our brand and resonating with the target audience. Again, trying to hit whatever it is that will emotionally appeal with our target audience. And that kind of contrasts that first example we saw of the not so good hero section with the not so great little outdated looking images.
Yeah, let's take a look at that one more time here. The water bottle. Yeah, so this is actually a hero image as opposed to having text over with an image background. And this really does get muddied on mobile displays and other screen sizes. Let's go back to our new examples here. I think we're going to look at Eventbrite as the first example here. Let us know what we're seeing here, David.
Yeah, so again, touching on what Jason mentioned, just keeping it really minimal, stripped down of all the fluff. With Eventbrite and the next example that we'll see, they're really relying heavily on the visuals. So for this, it's a different image that appears for every different visitor that comes to the website, but they're all really visually appealing. Kind of makes you feel like you're at the event, whatever it is that they're displaying. And then their call to action, again, bright orange button, probably could be a little bit bigger, to be honest, but the call to action is clear: find your next event. So you're here, it's a site to find events that you can go to and that you can register for. And then the next one here, Skillshare. Again, really relying heavily on the visuals, a lot of bright colors with this collage. Skillshare, if you're not familiar, it's a site to basically take courses, learn new skills. So they're showing people engaging in different activities, cooking. It's like one is art, another one's photography. So they're showing that people are engaging in these new skills that they've learned on their website on Skillshare. And then the call to action is front and center: explore your creativity with thousands of hands-on classes. And then we immediately, like Netflix, have the email address input so that we can sign up immediately.
Yeah, and what I think is, more for BD sites and so on, you're probably going to have a hero image like this with a call to action or a search form, depending if you're going to search the directory right there. I'm going to share a link to our Brilliant Directories marketplace. We did provide a few links to stock photo websites where you can find good background images for your sites. But just something to mention, you want the image to connect with either the person who's going to be searching the site as a visitor, so we're appealing to the consumer of the site, and we want to show pictures of a happy person having good results using the site, those emotional features of somebody smiling or feeling satisfied in some way. Or if your site is B2B, you want to show them the convenience that they're going to get from using your site or your service.
Awesome stuff. So third best practice, avoiding clutter, a point we've already touched on. But if we include too much different visuals along with too much different pieces of text, it can end up being overwhelming, confusing. And really what it comes down to is not being able to quickly comprehend at a glance what it is the website's offering. So that could lead to people leaving your site. Ultimately, what will probably happen is people will just start scrolling down. They'll probably miss some of the calls to action or those important points that you wanted to hit home initially, just because everything was a little bit too cluttered in that hero section. So we do want to focus on that value proposition, nail down, maybe the 2 lines of text that we think will really convey what it is we're offering to our website visitors, and not include too much else that'll end up detracting from that essential message.
And part of Clutter I want to mention is the photo that you use, and I mention this a lot to people, is trying not to have text as part of inside of the image, text that's actually part of the image. Again, like I mentioned before, it's going to stretch and squeeze on different mobile devices, and it's really, really difficult to get it exactly as you want it. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. So use the background image to show people or actions or places, and then have the text separately as title text through the design settings themselves. And that's another way to avoid clutter, is having too much overlapping text as part of the image and title text. And let's look at some examples here.
Yeah, the first one's Squarespace, another website builder. You can see the image itself, super bright, engaging. It's actually a really big hero section. It takes up just about the whole screen size. But with that, they're able to make the text super big, everything to sell anything. So we know immediately they're really focusing on the e-commerce aspect. People who want to sell products and services on their website, those are the people they're going after. And then that bright white get started button is very apparent here. Actually, they actually have two calls to action. They have the get started button, and then just below that they have a link to watch. It's actually their Super Bowl advertisement. Typically that's not there though. So really their call to action is really streamlined and slimmed out. Everything to sell anything, get started button, and that's pretty much it. And similar with this next one here for HubSpot, really simple design. They highlight the benefits on the left-hand side. They have a really simple screenshot over on the right. And their kind of tagline here, grow better with HubSpot, software that's powerful, not overpowering. So they're appealing to larger sized businesses who are looking for different software or platforms to help them grow their customer base. And again, with the really big apparent orange call to action button, start free or get a demo.
Right, and even that line, software that's powerful, not overpowering, what they're speaking to is the convenience that their solution has, and that it's going to be easy to use. It's going to just inherently, you're going to think that's going to save you time. You're not going to be fumbling around, trying to figure out how to use everything. It's going to be very intuitive. And it's just the right balance of features for a novice user and probably a more advanced user. And they say that all with two words, saying not overpowering. So really distilling down your language and figuring out how to relay and connect your message to make resonating messages with your audience is very important.
Absolutely. And the next one here, one we've seen in all of these hero sections already, is a clear and prominent call to action, encouraging visitors to take action or learn more about your membership site. It should be apparent. It should be clear that whatever it is we want them to do, that's what we want them to do. It doesn't have to be a button like we've seen in most of these examples so far, linking somewhere else. It could, for a membership or a directory site, it could just be a simple search box, whether it's keyword, location, a drop-down search box, really anything that will immediately start getting them involved and taking action on the website. And again, this is something that very first poor example we saw didn't have. It didn't have any call to action.
And I think a key word here is clear. I've also seen cases where there are too many calls to action. We're asking too much of the visitor to figure out where to click. We're giving them 10 options to click on because we think as the website owner, all those 10 options are important. What we really should be doing is figuring out how to create a portal experience and creating broader sections to link people to that take them deeper into our site, not make all the granular pages available immediately. So think about that stuff, not only on the hero section, but also when you set up your main menu. Many times I've seen sites with 20 main menu items. Those are not main anymore. Those are extremely granular. So figure out how to create broader portal pages for your site. Your visitors will appreciate it, you'll enjoy it, and also it's better for SEO as well because it gives Google a better navigation path through your website.
In this first example here, Coursera, another course website, but the call to action is extremely apparent. It's that search box right there so that we can start searching for courses. The text accompanies that, learn without limits, so we know it's for learning new information, new skills. And then they narrow that down a little bit more, speaking to their target audience in kind of that subheading there, start, switch, or advance your career, professional certificates and degrees from world-class universities and companies. So we know it's not just a course website where you could find anything, but it's something that's targeted more towards professionals looking to advance their professional lives. So they do have that really apparent search box call to action there. And then if people don't necessarily know what it is that they want to search for, they have some suggestions right below that as well. Actually, this is almost identical to what we have on the marketplace. We probably could have used that as an example. And then something else that's important, having smiling, happy people and smiling faces, just to give a good feeling to people who are coming to the website for the first time and help them trust you a little bit more.
Yeah, and actually just something about this, we're going to make it pretty easy to add a tag cloud link under your homepage search modules very soon, so you can emulate things like this with just very simple configuration using the menu manager. So stay tuned for that coming in March, and that should add some simple calls to action to your homepage, again, accompanying like a search form like this. So maybe you could put your trending or most popular types of searches here. And if somebody comes to your site, boom, they don't even have to search. They could just click on something that's very popular or common to search for on your site. And that's what we want. We want to take people from the homepage to an internal page very quickly without them leaving the website, of course.
And the next one here, Strava. This one, it's a little convoluted with the images that they're using around the CTA, but that's because their messaging and their CTA is so stripped down. So Strava, they're wanting people to join their community of athletes or people who are interested in doing, physical activities. So the text there right up at the top makes that pretty clear. Record, sweat, share, kudos. So you can record your workouts, your activities, share that with the community, interact with the community based on what everybody's doing. And then the call to action takes up the whole vertical space of this hero section. Again, getting you to register. They're giving quite a few different ways to register: Facebook, Google, Apple, using your email. But the images, the collage around the call to action really helps to solidify what it is Strava offers by having those screenshots of their app and then also including images of people doing physical activities and sports. So we know exactly what it is this website and this community is offering.
Right. Every homepage is going to be a little bit different and connect to the brand's voice and persona. So we might see some calmer homepages or more aggressive or loud. This is a pretty loud one with all the collage of the images. But we can see here the call to action is very straightforward. It's sign up. That's all they're asking you to do. And that's pretty cool.
So the last one here, certainly not least, we've talked about this in a few previous webinars, kind of getting ahead of the ball and addressing common objections. And the easiest way to do this is by providing social proof to people who are visiting our website for the first time and we're trying to get them signed up. We can anticipate some of the common objections or some of the reservations that they might have about joining our website and address those right up front to help them overcome that initial resistance that they might have to joining, especially if it's a paid membership or a paid service that you're offering. We want to let them know right up front that what we're offering, it works and it works for other people. So we can do that by providing some social proof. That could be testimonials, user reviews. It could be text, it could be images, it could be videos. But this is really going to be done to build that initial trust with the new visitors and encourage them to join.
Yeah, let's take a look at a few examples here.
Yeah, so here, this first one from Hootsuite and also the next one that we have, these actually aren't the very first things you see at the very top of the homepage. These are some hero sections that are a little bit further down, one or two sections below the very first section on their homepage. But again, it's a large section that visually grasps your attention. And this one for Hootsuite, it's a clear value proposition showing their customer success stories. And the image itself is kind of striking, being black and white on a really colorful background. And then the title itself shows exactly what it is Hootsuite is capable of doing, bringing almost a 100-year-old company kind of in to the modern days and being successful by grabbing more customers through social media. And then this next one here, Masterclass. Their value proposition is really focused on providing courses to users presented by celebrities or really well-known people in those fields of whatever the course is that they're presenting. So that's what they have as their very first section at the very top of their homepage. They show off kind of the big names and faces. But obviously for a newer website, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get some celebrity names up on there. So a little bit down low, again, like Hootsuite, they're showing some testimonials. So here they have a horizontal slider of just some really quick, short testimonials from people who are using their website, subscribe to their service to consume those courses that they have available. And to go along with the text, which ultimately tells the story of why these users are confident in what masterclass is offering, they have super high quality images, all with smiling faces, looking really friendly to accompany them, just giving us a good warm feeling inside.
Yeah, and there's actually things you can put on your homepage on the in the hero section as well related to this. I'll just take you to a landing page that Brilliant Directories has to try out a demo. Obviously, we have our demo form here, just like the Netflix sign up to Netflix. But right here, we have a star rating from a review that we've received in the past, and we've quoted it here. So you could add a star rating right on your homepage hero section. That would be fine to include in there as part of the image, or if you can float it with some CSS or HTML if you're familiar with that. There's one more site, I think it was Avo. Let me just check this lawyer site out here. I think they had reviews on their homepage. I could be wrong. I haven't visited here in a while. Yeah, here we go. So they're actually doing something different. They're not showing that this is a directory of lawyers. We can see here, they're not saying that Avo has 5 stars or whatever. They're actually showcasing even more brilliant, showcasing one of their members that has 120 reviews. Now, they could have just handpicked this member and put them on the homepage, but they are showing a star rating and showing social proof that, one, the site is being used. There's a lawyer here with lots of reviews. This can also be an upsell or a boost that you sell to your members to be featured, not just on your homepage, but as the homepage hero section. I'm actually going to share this link with you guys here. It might change. This is a pretty established site. The homepage might change based on where you are and whatnot, but here's an example of showing a star rating right on the homepage, and that's the social proof that David was explaining about showing right there on the hero section. So it doesn't have to be a testimonial. It could be just highlighting a member in your directory, and they're going to love it, and other members of your directory are going to want to be showcased there and featured there too. So that's something you can do.